So I saw actually Elon Musk's Twitter account that there was this like montage of these news reporters saying that one of the Doge employees had a screen name Big Balls. Like, so somehow the news decided that they're reporting on this, and it's just I wanted to see if it was real.
Wired reports that Path Network has hired a convicted cyber criminal and another hacker known as Cosmo the God, who is a member of a hacking group called UG Nazis. Wired says there's no evidence Korestein crossed paths with them during his employment. According to Wired, some domains Korestein controls through his tesla.sexy.llc are registered in Russia, and that another domain had content in Chinese. Experts say this could also make it harder for Korestein to get a clearance.
Here's a CNN clip last night that's making the rounds.
So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's test inside Doge.
This is real.
Newsmax host Todd Starnes wrote on X, the television network that employed Jeffrey Toobin
Why is my hand
that
shaking?
Elon Musk employs the 19-year-old who goes by the name Big Balls.
They're
Musk
all
himself
like
chimed in, writing, personally, I voted for Big Balls.
In response to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy's tweet about Doge helping with the aviation system,
they're really
Vice
saying
Chairman
it. I gotta show you
DNC
guys other
elected
clips.
David Hogg wrote, yeah, let's let a 19-year-old who goes by Big Balls handle the situation. Very confidence-inspiring. Well, we
Where to
got...
start?
Yes, let's Big Balls handle it. The government efficacy.
Well, I think that it's pretty...
And
The Big Balls thing...
while we're at it, let a 34,
that are very untested,
a convicted felon.
People who now are in positions of genuine influence, particularly...
Sorry, I gotta stop moving this camera around.
Systems. I do think it's kind of tricky discussing these two cases.
I want to find all the CNN, like all the liberal media.
By a lurid nickname or not.
But they're making them literally say...
The blatantly racist...
yeah, okay, who cares? Go back.
Posts that are appearing...
yeah, whatever.
On the account linked to, or however we're defined.
Give me a sec. So I'm going to find, like... how do I find, that's the big ball, like the CNN... like Anderson Cooper, like, literally said it. Come on. Here we go. Oh, this one's going to be great.
But we begin tonight with Donald Trump's shock and awe strategy, which is starting to feel a lot like more shock.
Her name's Joy. Of course it is.
He's been making a blizzard of moves in these first 18 days of his second administration.
Blizzard of moves.
To inspire fear and outrage, creating problems and then pretending to solve them so that he can look like a savior, keeping his promises to his base.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's all really bad and destructive. I think it's important to sort out the actual fires from the smoke and mirrors, because let's face it, we can't react to everything effectively all at the same time.
Okay, you're talking too slowly.
But that's what autocrats and coup leaders want, right? While
I'm waiting for you to have to say Big Balls.
Trump and Elon's little Doge gang are dismantling our federal government.
Dismantling.
So just for a moment, let's just take a step back and look at what he's been saying.
I can't speed her up that much.
He's been doing.
That one's okay.
Trump announced 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, which sent the markets into a tizzy.
A tizzy.
To pull a reverse at the last minute, claiming he got major concessions. When in
reality,
reality,
whatever.
Mexico and Canada basically reiterated the same border security measures they had already agreed to under Joe Biden.
Yeah, but Big Balls will enforce it.
The administration is also blitzing the airwaves.
That's what's going to take.
Terrifying pictures of what they claim is the largest deportation operation in American history. But as Politico reports, the number of daily ICE arrests trumpeted each day on X Twitter are still about where they were at times under President Barack Obama.
Who cares? Barack Obama was actually arresting people.
The White House said Wednesday that more than 400 migrants have been released for lack of detention capacity.
She might as well shave her head.
So, catch and release, yeah.
It's like racial appropriation. She's like dyed her hair blonde.
No new result. Then there's the executive order banning transgender athletes from competing in women's sports.
Thank God.
Less than 1% of our population, and there are fewer than 10 collegiate athletes who identify as transgender in the whole country. That was not
Good.
inspiring.
Well,
I said
bye. Goodbye,
10.
10 of you.
10 Americans is bizarre.
We will see you.
Yesterday, the federal government does not mandate who can play in school sports. If local school boards decide to mimic that ugly EO, it is awful, yes, but local voters will be able to hold them accountable.
Local voters didn't vote. The majority of even Democrats.
The administration has already
How
walked that one
can
back,
people watch
especially
this
his
shit?
symbolic talk about sending in U.S. troops. He posted on his social media today that no troops will be needed since Israel will just hand over Gaza to the U.S. once the war is over. Okay, so Israel will somehow physically expel.
I just want to watch her say big balls. When do you say big balls,
and then
lady?
hand over Gaza to us to
Let's talk
colonize.
about Doge.
No military protection. Yeah, that should go over great. Speaking of countries that Trump is threatening to go to war with.
When is she going to start talking about it? Let's find it.
Forget what they said. We know that what the Trump-Musk gang have actually done is that Elon's Doge gang have gained
This is
access
going to
to
be great.
files at the Treasury Department, the Office of Personnel Management, Small Business Administration, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Department of Education, Centers for Medicare.
Yeah,
and Medicaid
they're
Services,
ripping you
and Veterans
off.
Affairs. They requested access to the Department of Labor, which houses confidential information, including for whistleblowers, economic data, and other personal information. But after a group of unions sue, they've been blocked by a judge until tomorrow. And naturally, this has triggered panic within the federal workforce and across the country because unvetted and unqualified Musk sycophants are rummaging through highly sensitive data. Newly minted Treasury Secretary and multimillionaire Scott Bessent dismissed all of this as nothing but squawking.
Squawking.
When you hear this squawking, then some status quo interest is not happy. What I will tell you that at the Treasury, our payment system is not being touched in terms of payments being stopped. That is happening upstream at the department level.
Mm-hmm.
Just say it.
Musk has claimed the exact opposite on X Twitter when he said his team was canceling payments to Lutheran organizations. And Wired reports that a 25-year-old engineer, Marco Ellis, was among the Doge staffers given access to the code at the Treasury Department that controls Social Security payments, tax returns, and more. According to Wired, those privileges could give someone the power to log into servers through secure shell access, navigate the entire file system, change user permissions, and delete or modify critical files. Early this morning, that federal judge got the Treasury Department to limit Doge's access to your sensitive data to just 2 Doge.
To my sensitive data, yeah. Like,
read-only access. According to the language agreed to by the two sides, one of the two is Musk ally Tom Krause, the chief executive officer at Cloud Software Group. The other is Marco Ellis. Treasury Department officials were asked by the judge if those Musk allies had distributed the fiscal data to anybody else. And they said, as far as we are aware, no, they have not outside the Treasury Department. As far as we are aware, well, that's not exactly comforting. But wait, there's more. The Wall Street Journal is reporting tonight that Marco Ellis has resigned from his position at Doge because the Journal found that he had links to deleted ex-Twitter media accounts where he attacked the notion of Indian nationals in the tech world and declared that he was racist before it was cool. Ellis did not respond to the Journal's request for comment. Join me now.
They could leak anything though and make it up. Honestly, like it's at this point,
popular information, Judge.
I don't even trust.
Because this sort of, to our knowledge, these young Doge kids have not shared.
I just want her to say big balls. Say it, lady.
About what's been going on at Treasury. What does your reporting say about what they've actually done with their access to those files while we've been out here chasing?
I need to find that clip.
Donald Trump has been emptying into the garden.
Well, I think, unfortunately, we don't know a lot about what has been done because I know through some of the reporting I've been doing that the Office of Personnel Management, which keeps all the files for all millions of federal workers, employment files, job applications, social security numbers, etc., they've been given administrative access to these files. At the same time, the career staff have been locked out of these databases. So you have both.
I can't believe anybody even watches her show. Like, seriously. Is this, like, where does she say big balls?
This has triggered panic within the federal workforce and across the country because unvetted
is not happy. What I will tell
Okay, I'm not doing this anymore.
you that at the Treasury,
I'm gonna find it. Clickbait. Media freak out over. Oh, this one. She'll show it. Here we go.
I'm just going to give folks a feel for what's happening in reaction to Elon's, I don't know, like 6 gunslingers who are going into USAID and going into Treasury, although those are 2 like actual special employees at Treasury. Anyway, it's Elon's team trying to figure out where we can find these efficiencies. and total meltdown on the left and the media. But I repeat myself. Here's a sampling.
I apologize to the Saints out there.
Here we go.
A lot of the Saints listen to the show. He called himself Big Balls. So Big Balls.
She won't say it.
Social security data, and maybe downloaded it, maybe didn't share it, maybe.
This is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be
She
one way
said
to
it.
refer to him, is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.sexy LLC.
As young as 19.
The Big Balls here.
Wired has done an astonishing job here. I
Big balls here.
Why he was hired for all this ridiculous nonsense.
Kara Swisher there at the end.
One of my faves.
Oh, right?
One of my muses, I think. I mean, she's just like perfectly emblematic of the buffoonish media, I think.
Thank you.
Also, here she is talking about Elon Musk. I love how every single one of these clips opens up whenever she's sort of on a CNN or whatever it is to talk about Elon Musk, and she's brought on as this Elon Musk expert. She has not talked to Elon Musk in years.
Expert.
I think there was an interview she did with him like 4+ years ago.
That's what it said there. The Chiron has interviewed Elon Musk.
I agree with her on one point, though. She said, Wired had done an amazing job, I think, was what she had said, something like that. I agree it's an amazing job.
They do not like big balls. These ladies do not.
Wired is the one that
You can
outed
tell.
They broke the story. Yeah, so they all 6 of them or something, and then but they've been teasing out like new stories every day. There's a new story. The Big Balls one is, I mean, the headline was crazy. It was like teen entrepreneur builds Sexa, or what was it? It's Tesla.sexy LLC.
Oh no!
And hires convicted hackers, which says to me like, so they're not actually in prison. He's a criminal justice reform kind of kid.
By the way,
he's a heart of gold.
That's a lot of people hire the black hat hackers and the white hat hackers, right? In tech, my husband used to run a security firm for online, properties, and they loved hiring the black hat hackers because they knew what they were doing.
Yes, it was like every beat though in that line. It's like he's a multiple entrepreneur. He's a teen genius. He then goes by the name Big Balls. Okay, so like it is what it is. He's 19 and he's like a genius and he's working in the government. Do you want like really brilliant 19-year-olds or do you want a really sort of old dumb person?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I do know what they want, but it's not what I want. So I
stand for Big Balls.
I'm fighting for Big Balls.
I'm fighting for Big Balls.
Doesn't make me regret it, but if he does, I'll probably forgive him. I'll forgive Big Balls.
They're making it sound like Elon is in there with his team of 6 gunslingers, looking up our social security numbers so he can open up a credit card in our name, right? Like, there's some nefarious purpose. He has competitors. He could be spying on their data. It's like, meanwhile, what Elon has wanted to do, he's made very clear what he wants to do, which is find efficiencies in each of these agencies, and they're overstating the extent of his access. So, like, for example, they wanted us to believe that these hackers had access to change code or change data at Treasury, but
they had like
Scott
read
came out here and
only.
said that is not true. Here he is, in part. That's not 33 in an interview.
They're just like
First of all,
spreading.
let me say the Doge team. These are Treasury employees. There are 2 Treasury employees, one of whom I personally interviewed in his final round. There is no tinkering with the system. They are on read-only. They are looking. They can make no changes. It is an operational program to suggest improvements. The ability to change the
Big
system
Balls was
to
given
deliver
clearance
so
to enter
in this building. So they could make suggestions on how to change the system, but we don't even run the system.
Ooh, that was creepy.
Okay. So
we don't even
who are
run
we
the
to believe?
system.
Wired, that they're having access and they can actually change code, or Scott Bissender says they can only read it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Wired is just, and all the media, they're going to say whatever they have to say to make this seem more terrifying than it is. Because if you just break it down into its basics, you have the duly elected president of the United States has hired a person to do a job that the American people knew about before he was hired, and now he's doing it, and we're glad. And
we
there's
didn't
just, like,
elect
not a lot of
Big
ways to make
Balls,
that
so.
sound scary. So, I mean, it's like, again, it's like, I know what I think. I know what they're going to think. I think they're kind of going to stay in their little corner and keep making stories or whatever. But
unelected Big Balls.
I want to see the bureaucratic state slimmed.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like they're trolling the media so bad. I want to. Let me find a montage. Oh, good, Benny Johnson. Okay.
The purpose here is simple: to strengthen what is weak. Make hard what is soft. When one is master of the body, you will be warrior once more.
The hell? Oh my. Oh my. Oh.
Debanking of his political enemies and destruction of the deep state. And
I used to watch him back in the day.
Canada and Greenland and Panama. Oh, baby. Libs have finally found something that they are going to rally around. They finally found the real thing to be outraged about from their perspective.
Big Balls.
Ladies and gentlemen, a member of Elon Musk's Doge team is named Big Balls. And it led to a CNN segment that had us howling with laughter, and this Chiron is real. Doge teen known as Big Balls, now a government expert. You can hear
the angry faces, the anti-big balls.
Play with me. Elon Musk's Doge lieutenant, X-rated online pseudonym leaves.
I know, it's so amazing. It's just epic. Is that Big Balls?
Oh no! Here we go.
That's his code name.
One of Elon Musk's Doge staffers, self-proclaimed nickname Big Balls, has left CNN host discussing the moniker on air. Shocked.
Like this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
She's so serious,
he's
too.
at Musk's behest inside Doge. And we looked into his background. And so we found, several...
That's some real investigative reporting here.
Including one with another unfortunate
she got
Tesla.sexy LLC.
The intel on Big Balls.
Why couldn't you... What's wrong with that name? It's a great name for a company.
Tesla sex. Okay, well, Sexy Single Mama is great too.
We'll see.
There we go.
And there's nothing wrong with making a joke, right? Like, it's a funny joke. And
these ladies cannot laugh about balls.
By the people who allowed this to happen to our federal government, they not only voted for this, they supported this.
Yeah,
and
seriously.
Funded it. They gave this degeneracy access to the halls of our government. Of course,
I remember that. They were on the White House lawn.
For a channel to stay up.
The first.
So sick and perverted.
Oh, this is what I wanted to see. Please, Anderson Cooper, say Big Balls. You know you like it.
Every teenage young man has made in their life.
Yes.
A dick joke, right? Yeah. Speaking of people being dicks.
Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with Musk and Big Balls.
Big Balls.
Big Balls.
Big Balls, who work for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, Doge. In one case of the Big Balls kid, a literal teenager.
Big Balls online, Big Balls here, that Gabe's talking about. A 19-year-old that goes by the username Big Balls. So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
Young computer whizzes, the aforementioned Big Balls.
Because who among us doesn't feel better about Big Balls, Big Balls, Big Balls in charge of American air traffic control?
These Karens don't look happy having to discuss Big Balls on live television.
I want to see what's her face
complaining
about.
50 to 70-year-olds who can't use a computer without their grandson's help. Doge team members began screaming at senior developers, calling them idiots. Not gonna lie, sounds pretty cool. Could you imagine being whoever this harpy is, and being forced to spend all day researching this kid's mean shitcoin accounts, right? It's like, this is what
Cat turd.
you're a grown-ass adult.
I think I follow him.
And do this like huffy breath, like, oh, you kids can't believe it, and you spent all day looking through this guy's 4chan account and his meme coins. Oh, your work is so serious. You're like a Woodward and Bernstein. You're just like the same. You're such high-minded journalism. You can't make this up. Everyone's laughing. I don't really have a problem with somebody founding a company called Tesla Sexy LLC.
That's just so outrageous.
Kind of sexist for a woman to be talking about balls when they clearly have no clue what they're talking about. Not very inclusive. Spotted outside of Doge headquarters. Exclusive Doge staffers identity revealed. Hairy Balls, Big Balls, Dick Hurts, Ligma Johnson, the biggest dickest.
Oh, yes.
Oh no, I can't believe they doxed Doge.
Oh, they doxed Doge. That would be so amazing.
Big Balls 2028. I personally voted for Big Balls.
No one elected Big Balls.
Wait till you hear about Harry Nutt's father.
Harry Nutt's father. Oh no.
Somehow, useless bureaucrats getting fired by Doge employees are much better when you know the person firing them. Goes by Big Balls. It probably says no cap. Oh man, I need my urgent matter elevated to the desk of Big Balls. Oh man. Something's becoming abundantly clear. AI won't take your job, and a 19-year-old named Big Balls will. Saying, hear me out. Officially enjoying this Big Balls story.
This Big Balls story is the best.
It's a near perfect example of
AI won't take your job, a teenager named Big Balls will.
Still think they're in charge of what news to isolate, polarize, weaponize, but they're not. Not even close. Between Trump and massive megaphone and MAGA influencers. The story of Big Balls is hilarious, and it's a rallying cry, and it's a joke.
Oh my God. Oh my god.
I saw people on the left and the right actually attacking CNN for this.
They are so serious. They can't even laugh.
Musk hiring 19-year-old big ball Doge workers. Remember this the next time they push for 16-year-olds to vote. That's right. Look at this.
Employee of the month. Big ball.
Can't help it.
This is just.
With Doge on CNN. Got CNN say big balls on it. Yeah, I mean, this is
Who's got big balls? He's got big balls.
You're being trolled.
I've got.
Like this kid. This kid clearly is doing this. Maybe they went back in and like changed their name just because they knew that CNN would be.
Exactly. That's what I said. I said they're like trolling the news reports so bad to make them. Somebody's sending them out the report that they have to actually air this.
I voted for the felon, hillbilly, space dude, and for big balls. How about you?
I voted.
Elon Musk and Doge, bring back big balls. Should Doge staffer who made inappropriate statements via now deleted pseudonym. So this is Elon Musk's poll that he put up. Because apparently, big balls had to be let go because of some other naughty statements.
No, you're lying. That wasn't big balls. That was a different guy. Fake news. Bad reporting. Nope. There's a guy that made statements.
Big balls deserves a second chance. Seriously.
It was not big balls. They're two different people.
And now the voice of the president, Dan Savino, who's Donald Trump's.
Oh my God, the orange ball.
Holding two giant orange balls. Ladies and gentlemen, JD Vance
Oh God.
went in hard in the defense of this young man, which I think is just the sharpest take. For the he was being attacked by a member of Congress. Let me zip out here. This is why JD Vance is just like absolute gold, platinum, top tier selection for VP. Here's my view. I obviously disagree with some of the posts, but I don't think it's the stupid social media activity should ruin a kid's life. We shouldn't reward journalists who try and destroy people ever. So I say bring him back. If he's a bad dude or a terrible member of the team, fire him for that. Then Ro Khanna says, are you going to have him apologize for saying normalizing need hate for his rehiring?
From my understanding, the report I saw, those were two different
For the
people.
sake of both of our kids, grow up, says JD Vance. Racist trolls on the internet, while offensive, don't threaten my kids. You know what does? A culture that denies grace to people for their mistakes. A culture that encourages congressmen to act like whiny children. I can't overstate how much.
Yeah, maybe act more like big balls.
My kids, God willing, will be risk takers. They won't think constantly about whether a flippant comment or a wrong viewpoint will follow them around for the rest of their lives. They will tell stupid jokes, they will develop views that they later think are wrong or even gross. I made mistakes as a kid, and I thank God that I grew up in a culture that encouraged me to grow and learn, and feel remorse when I screwed up, and offer grace to others when they do. I don't worry about my kids making mistakes or developing views that I later regret. I don't even worry.
Yeah, his statements, though, were pretty, like, harsh, though, to be.
They'll grow up to be
I don't know.
Congressman who engages in emotional blackmail over kids' social media posts. You disgust me. And Elon Musk saying he will be brought back to air as human to forgive his divine. Let's go.
To err is human, to forgive is divine. Yay, there you go. I like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, and nobody has ever been more angry than the harpies over on CNN.
Oh, yes.
Look at this image. This is what we did by electing Donald Trump in 2024. Arguably in American history, you know, in modern American history, yeah, for sure. It's what Benny, like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, from my understanding, though, I'm not crazy. I know there's two different people, so. Let's see.
For you and for the Prime Minister as well.
She said, what? Big balls. Trump says Elon Musk Doge team.
Mr. President, I wonder what you make of the criticism from Democrats that these staff reductions, the cuts that Elon Musk and Doge are doing are an unlawful power grab. Is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Big balls. You must not touch big balls. He's a good employee worker.
A very capable group of people. Very capable. They know what they're doing. They'll ask questions and they'll see immediately if somebody gets tongue-tied.
Big balls is more than capable.
Or don't know what they're doing. We have very smart people going in. So
Big balls is very smart.
Go into education, go into military, go into other
He
things.
thinks with his little, the big brain. Yes. Democrats fear big balls. Oh my God. Let's see Shapiro's take.
Well, folks, there's one kind of young person that Democrats like, and there's one kind of young person that Democrats really don't. The
This
kind
is
of young
gonna be
person
funny.
Democrats like, as it turns out, The theater kid. That is the type, the theater kid. When I say the theater kid, I mean very specifically performative young people who cast aspersions at everyone who is older than they are. Cast blame. Those people are tools of the Democratic Party. They are tools of the left.
Shapiro is going to defend Big Balls. He likes his matzo balls big.
Create things who are in it.
Oops.
Bad. They're part of the system. What they want are young people that they can use as batons to wield against the system. The young people who are bad are the people who are actually good at things. Those young people who might be, engineers, who might be building companies, who might be innovating.
Okay, shut up. Go on with the big balls. Let's do it.
We can't allow
Come
them
on.
anywhere near the levers of power. This has come to a head today
Okay,
because the left has decided that the worst young people in existence work for Elon Musk's Doge. And this has specifically become a central feature of the Democratic angst because there's one young person in particular, a young
Okay,
technologist
here comes the punchline.
who is being targeted by Wired Magazine and now the entire unified left. Why? Because this young technologist is known online as Big Balls. Yes, that's a meme. This person, it turns out that many of the people who are in sort of online meme world, which is Elon Musk's domain,
They're gonna make a crypto
if you are in
token
that
called
world,
Big
you tend
Balls.
to throw out silly memes, foolish names for yourself.
Now it's
silly
gonna
nicknames.
like
And meanwhile, you're using AI technology to decode thousands of years old encrypted Greek texts, basically. So you're doing genius things, but also you're doing super stupid things by calling yourself Big Balls on LinkedIn. Apparently, Wired is very angry about this. They had a report that says that a young technologist known online as Big Balls, who works for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, has access to sensitive U.S. government systems. But his professional
I
knowledge
bet
is
Big
all
Balls
questions,
has
whether he
access
passed
to
background checks,
sensitive
typically required to
things
obtain
for
security
sure,
clearances. Yeah, sure. That is the
and
thing that I think people are
very
worried
secure
about, is
clearances.
whether they would pass a security clearance, the kind of security
Big
clearance
Balls
that, for example,
has
allowed
trouble
Biden administration
passing
appointees to full-on leak Israeli war plans to the press. Those security clearances have been doing a hell of a lot of
some
work. They've been doing a basic
certain
job.
clearances.
The engineers that Elon Musk has working for him typically are young
Here.
and incredibly smart, which is why
Big
they
Balls
work
is
for
smart.
Elon Musk. So the 6 young men who are sort of leading the charge are apparently all between the ages of 19 and 24, and this has been determined to be a very, very bad thing.
Why don't we
By
find
so
out
many
who the
other
fact
people
checkers
online.
Zuckerberg
Just
hired are?
so CNN covered this.
See what they call them, what they tweet.
Yesterday. They were very, very upset. First of all, the Chiron is just wonderful. Quote, Wired, Doge team, known online as Big Balls, now government expert. First of all, government expertise, according to the left, is you went to George Washington University after majoring in African American history, and now we call you a State Department expert. That is the way
I
you get
know.
appointed an expert, according to CNN. But
That's so true.
because this young technologist, who apparently is kind of a genius, jokingly called himself Big Balls online, the Democrats are very upset. Like, very upset. Understand, Democrats only like big balls when they are on a purported woman. In any case,
Oh my God.
anchors just beside themselves over
So, Kara, you
Okay.
hear this, and you have known
They
Elon
keep
Musk
showing the
for
same
years.
clip. I want
So
the
now
other
you look at these
clips.
young men who are now in data and in the private information about maybe hundreds of millions of Americans.
I want the other
His
clip.
son is 19, big balls
It's
here. They
Big
just
Balls
talked about.
here.
Most of them are in their early 20s. There's an exception.
There's just no smile at all.
There is, though, Kara. How well does even
Kara,
Musk know these
come
young
on.
men, do you think?
I have no idea. I think there's no vetting whatsoever. As you can see, that's taking place. It took Katie and the really great team Wired. has done
There's no
an astonishing job
vetting.
here. I could make a joke that's
Take
probably
Big Balls to the vet,
ridiculous
please.
nonsense and other nefarious things.
Oh, I
But,
got an issue with
there's an
having to do that.
expression in
Unfortunately,
technology.
we're
It's
gonna
not
have to have him
it's
removed.
feature,
My
not
cat
bug.
needs to be neutered.
Well, these are this is your local
He's
HOA
spraying.
telling you that you're not allowed to put an American flag on your lawn on July 4th because it might be offensive to others. The media just losing it over Big Balls. It's just so terrible. How could they? Just the worst.
Who makeup on
And,
whose
was
mustache?
deeply
Is
upset
it
by
on
Big Balls. There was
Shapiro's?
Joy Reid. And again, another very censorious. Remember, the things that are very offensive and upsetting to the left do not include, for example, men who get boob jobs and jiggle their bare breasts at the White House on the lawn. That is not offensive to the left.
I know.
Or, gay guys having in the actual Senate chambers, not offensive to the left. That's freedom of expression. But a young technologist,
It's very brave.
Big Balls on LinkedIn. That is just beyond. That is just
It
so
is
far
very
beyond the
brave.
pale. We cannot have any of that. This is a well-respected government. A well-respected government that funds the transing of the children in Guatemala via the U.S. Agency for
And you
International Development.
hired.
Take us seriously. Honestly, the entire Democratic approach to politics seems to be the meme from Arrested Development of Job Bluth with his magician friends holding up a sign that says, "We demand to be taken seriously." But they need to be taken seriously, folks. These folks at MSNBC, Joy Reid is a serious person, and she will not brook the idea of a young man who called himself online Big Balls, cutting governmental waste programs. There we go.
Yeah.
19 years old, is a high school graduate, he works at Doge. He has access to U.S. government systems. His professional and online history call into question whether he would even pass a background check, typically required to obtain security clearances. Security experts tell Wired he runs something called Tesla.sexy, which operates
Tesla.sexy.
a startup that hired convicted hackers.
She calls herself sexy single mama. I would love to see her say that.
And on his LinkedIn, and I apologize to the Saints out there, we know a lot of the Saints listen to the show, he called himself Big B-A-L-L-S.
Wait till they find out what I run
Balls.
for office.
That's what he calls himself.
Well,
Big
when I get in.
B-A-L-L-S has all of our social
She
security
went by
data,
Sexy
and maybe
Sigma.
downloaded it, maybe didn't share it, maybe did.
Okay, as a person who's relatively famous for not reading full obscene lyrics on the air, I promise that Joy Reid has said words way worse than balls on her show.
And she just won't say it.
Amazing.
B-A-L-L-S. She didn't fall for it.
Are they offended that some teenager
Or-
who is apparently a brilliant technologist used an obscene meme online? Are they really upset about? No, what they're really upset about is because the only kids that they want to succeed are the theater kids, the ones who actually build things, who are good at things, who have a skill set. Those ones are the bad ones. So David Hogg is like the perfect example of this.
Wait.
David Hogg, or Stickman Hogg, as I will call him from now on, since he is both a stick figure of a person when it comes to his physical stature as well as his intellectual representation of left-wing ideas. So David Hogg tweeted out, he's now the vice chair of the DNC, by the way, at the age of 24, based on his varied accomplishments, which include getting into Harvard with a low SAT score because he went to a school where a school shooting took place, not running a failed pillow company, and tweeting inane nonsense for years, while claiming that he was sort of immune from any criticism because, again, a school shooting took place at a school that he went to when he was in high school. He tweeted out, quote, "Yeah, let's let a 19-year-old who goes by Big Balls handle the situation. Very confidence-inspiring. He's 24 and he's never done anything in his entire life. Anything of value in his entire life. And he's somehow the vice chair of the DNC. And I will point out at this point, by the way, that the relative youth of technologists is in fact a hallmark of successful technologists. Charlie Cook, who is one of the editors over at National Review, he points out that Page and Brin created Google at 24. Zuckerberg launched Facebook at 19. Steve Jobs started Apple at 21.
Well,
right? It's kind of a hallmark of genius.
I think they had to find
very,
like
very early in life.
these line
It's a
items
hallmark of
through.
democratic
I don't know.
children.
There's probably
They're child
some
heroes, that they are not productive. They don't do
stuff
anything
that
useful
need
except yell at the adults. All they are
IT
cuter
geeks
versions
needed
of older
to
Democrats at your HOA. Which is why
run
David Hogg
some
became
code to
famous in the
figure
first place.
out.
He
I don't
became
know
famous for
what they
yelling at
did,
the
but
adults to do something about gun violence. He didn't have any solutions.
I don't do
He didn't have anything
computers.
of value to say, but he was a young person.
I have
who was
not
yelling
learned to
all the things
code.
Democrats wanted to hear. Here was David Hogg back in the day. This is the reason why he's currently the vice chair, Stickman Hogg. He's currently the vice chair of the DNC.
First off, I'm going to start off by putting this price tag right here as a reminder for you guys.
Oh
to
my
know how much
God.
Marco Rubio took for every student's life in Florida. $1.05.
What?
People try to suppress your vote, and there are people who stand against you
The
because
vice
you're too young.
chair
We say no more.
of a DNC.
When politicians say that your voice doesn't matter because the NRA owns them, we say no
What's that?
When politicians send their thoughts and prayers with no action, we say no more. And to those politicians supported by the NRA that allow the continued slaughter of our children and our future, I say get your resumes ready. We can and we will change the world.
Okay.
He did not, in fact, change the world. Isn't that a fascist salute right there? Why is he making a fascist salute at the March for Our Lives in 2019? That fascist is now apparently the vice chair of the DNC. Remember, he was celebrated. He was made into a national hero. He was put on the cover of Time magazine.
Oh my
with his
God.
friends from Parkland. Many of whom, by the way, do not. I know some of the former Parkland kids who are now adults. Many of them not real fans of David Hogg. In any case, that guy is now the vice chair of the DNC. He was championed by the left specifically because he was young, and he never did anything. He just yelled the things they wanted to hear. This is why Greta Thunberg was nominated for the Nobel Prize. That moronic Swedish now woman who I can make fun of because she's over the age of 18. The rule is you can't make fun of anybody under 18. She's well over 18, even if she dresses like she's under 18, and still wears around the pigtails and the braid and pretends that she is, a child.
How dare you!
Walking around pretending she's a 16-year-old while shouting at the evil adults.
You've stolen my dreams. That will never be not amazing. I hope she tells Big Balls that. How dare you!
England. Well, it's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard as well. You don't need to pay $100 a month just to get a free phone. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, says no to inflated
Oh,
prices.
no, we're not doing this.
$45 a month, you can choose.
We're not doing your little pure talk. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. How do I fast forward? My thing doesn't work. Okay, what? We're. Oh! The Greta clip. Oh. Where does this fit in? Let's see.
I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
I just want to point out, you worshipped this person. This blusterbag.
I showed that to my daughter, and she's like, "Oh, she was pretty good." What?
With no skill set.
My daughter thought she was acting.
So, yeah,
Like, I said that was not acting, and then she was like, "Oh."
Filled with salt.
I'm like, "Shoot."
With your recommendation that because a dude
You're
calls himself big balls in a meme online, and that somehow makes
How dare you?
Exactly.
You think it was acting? Yeah.
Young people
Got her like
they want that lifestyle extended over the entire course of adult life. They want permanent Greta Thunberg. They want permanent David Hawks. That's what they want. They want people who never build anything.
the lighting and makeup is so bad.
What they want is people
Can't pay attention to what he's
16 and complaining about the world.
Well, my camera's not the
a perfect example of
best, but
is a representative from Michigan.
maybe it shows.
Lori Pohutsky. Lori Pohutsky is not a young person. Lori Pohutsky is 36, which in the old days would put you squarely into the lower middle-aged category. Lori Pohutsky announced yesterday that she had undergone surgery to ensure that she would never have to navigate a pregnancy in Donald Trump's America, and thus had sterilized herself. Perennial childhood, perennial lack of responsibility, and then blaming the system for it. Now, you might say to yourself, wait, hold up. You know, there are many things that human beings can do, it turns out, to avoid getting pregnant. I mean, that is just a fact. You might say to yourself, the Michigan abortion law is actually quite permissive. That actually the Michigan Constitution guarantees a right to an abortion. Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is, yelling at the system and then harming yourself in the process is heroism on the left. It is Greta Thunberg forever. It is 80-year-old Greta Thunberg filling the Democratic Party. So yeah, I'm not going to take you seriously that you're very, very upset over big balls going through the budget at the transportation department for waste and fraud.
Oh, who likes big balls? Oh well.
Your adulation, it's almost getting boring.
He's pretty funny though.
Your adulation, it's almost getting boring. Happy Thursday, everyone. So Mitch McConnell is reportedly fine after falling down the stairs.
Oh my.
Medical personnel
He looks like a turtle. Oh, they actually made that joke. Because he does.
Has released their full unedited 60-minute interview with Kamala Harris. Apparently, they left out
That was pretty epic too.
She was allergic to mold, which could explain why you rarely saw her standing next to Joe Biden. Now, we're not sure how much they doctored the chat, but they left out the clip of her arriving to the interview by boat.
Oh, wait, what was that?
As you know, Sunday is the Super Bowl, which means shut up. Which means in less than 48 hours, J.B. Pritzker will start filling his hot tub with ranch dressing.
Oh no. Oh no.
For the big game, the NFL will remove the words "end racism" from the end zone to be replaced by something more appropriate.
Pay child support. Oh my god. Oh.
Daniel Penny has landed a new job in finance at a major firm.
Wow.
They already have a sign up that says, "If choking, do not let Daniel apply the Heimlich."
Oh my god. It's kind of funny.
Apparently, the Biden administration and USAID authorized $20 million to create a version of Sesame Street in Iraq. In this version,
sunny days are. Yeah, that's right. Emma went to Iraq and Emma talked out about transgenders. Yeah, Cookie decided he didn't want his cookie no more.
Loaded onto a plane and shipped to Gitmo. When they arrived, the concierge said their room wouldn't be ready till 1, but they could enjoy a complimentary waterboarding on the house. Ron DeSantis is pushing for a tax holiday with no sales tax on guns and ammo in Florida. He calls it Second Amendment Summer. Hell, for me, every summer is Second Amendment Summer with these guns. And that is not AI. All right. So we've all heard about DOGE, the new agency aimed at cutting the fat in our government. Now, to be fair, Trump already managed to cut a lot already.
My
but
god.
There's more to go, and in fact, it's such a good idea.
These
You gotta ask
jokes.
yourself, why stop at government? Why not the media? And then cut the stuff nobody wants, right?
Oh, your pal Jesse Waters.
I love how they're only upset about Jesse.
Wow.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Oh, I don't know.
So funny.
That is funny. That's what I just said.
And a true audit on the media
You
industrial
don't turn
complex
in.
might finally expose the incestuous relationship between that and the Dems they serve. Well, it appears to be happening, and once again, it's thanks to the Orange Wrecking Ball. Exhibit A.
The Orange Wrecking Ball.
The committee that chooses the Pulitzer Prizes. Turns out that after the Pulitzer Committee gave their 2018 award for national reporting to the Washington Post and the New York Times for reporting the Russiagate hoax as real, you know, when they should have won the
Like, you didn't have to make his face that orange. Come on,
sued not
Fox.
the paper, but the Pulitzer. Or Pulitzer. Who gives a Now, Trump wasn't looking for money. What he really wanted was to show that the award committee and their media were in bed together like Anna Navarro in a tub of whipped Velveeta.
Ugh.
For example, Washington Post columnist Eugene Robinson chaired the same committee that gave his own paper the Pulitzer for bogus reporting.
Wow.
Favoritism when Jesse writes books about himself. But it wasn't just Robinson. According to the Washington Free Beacon,
They're uncovering, like,
Times, NPR, Bloomberg, USA Today also served on the board.
these guys, Jesse and Gutfield, used to be on a show, like, together. I thought they were.
So yesterday, Trump won a major victory. A judge found enough for the case to go forward, which means the discovery phase is coming.
Trump scores big legal win against Pulitzer Prize. Wow.
Thus showing and proving yet again it was a bigger sham than Elizabeth Warren's collection of tomahawks.
Oh, wow.
But Trump's doging of the media is far from done. You know 60 Minutes, a show where instead of using makeup artists, they use morticians. Thanks to Trump's lawsuit against CBS, the network had to release the full transcript of the Kamala Harris interview.
Yeah, that was insane.
And the interview got more surgery than Nancy Pelosi's face and Dick Cheney's heart combined. What's your problem? Watch.
It's going to be taxes. It's going to be literally, if the economists...
Look at this guy's face. He tries to school her.
You must be very thoughtful about how you use that microphone in front of you.
Oh.
And, you know, when I was Attorney General, the words I spoke could move market. You know what picture day
Why
is
would
like.
anyone fucking vote
They
for
get excited
her?
the night before, we put out the clothes they're going to wear. They go to school,
Like why?
make sure their
I
faces
still
are
don't.
clean and their hair is done. And they go to school for picture day. You know what happened to these children? They had to evacuate that day.
Oh.
Because of the fear of the threats that were being issued in spring.
So mom didn't have to waste $40 on one photo.
Nearly all her commentary on foreign affairs, including on Israel and Iran, were also cleaned up. I haven't seen a turd get this polished since Jim Acosta got a facial. Did it work? Well, Kamala isn't president. But you can't say they didn't try. Meanwhile,
Oh my
Trump just settled with
God.
ABC News for 15
Like,
mil.
how
Reddit just settled with him for
screwed up
25
is
mil.
our-
CBS parent company Paramount is reportedly considering a similar payout. Pretty soon, Trump will be able to afford
Meta to pay 25 minutes to settle Trump. Wow, that's why Zuckerberg's been sucking up.
Register and veteran pollster Ann Seltzer for claiming Kamala was leading him in the Iowa polls. Makes sense. We all knew that poll was nuttier than a dick pic from Mr. Peanut.
Oh, wow.
But it didn't stop the media from reporting it like it
Oh.
was real. So it's kind of fun watching Trump set his sights on these fools. God forbid they open the books on The View. You'll probably find secret payments to ham hocks by mail. Meanwhile, the old guard is fleeing. Andrea Mitchell says she's bailing on MSNBC for better opportunities. And why not? I'm sure there's a science museum somewhere that needs a medical skeleton. Terrible.
Dang. Man.
Johnson just left CNN. A shock to CNN, who had no idea he still worked there. Chuck Todd is gone, seeking better opportunities as the before picture for the Hair Club for Men.
Oh my God. That's funny.
So as Fox's numbers
That guy, too, is
competition
just...
dropped like turds out of a donkey's ass. And why? Well, the coup failed. One thing we learned from Doge is that our government loves to create artificial instability in other countries. Under the guise of aid, they enlist activists, the media, and aim to silence dissent through censorship outfits. It's pretty clear now that they weren't just doing places like the Ukraine.
So, like...
Too. Government and media gymmed up 4 years of conflict, all to install...
Why are nobody saying anything about it?
Trump won. And now the people behind it...
Meaning the media continues to lie. And there's people that still believe it. And it's just like...
He's got lots of style and keeps his cash in a pile. Close to making money on Fox
Oh, I remember him on American Idol.
She covers the polls like hot butter on rolls, Republican strategist Aaron Perini. He looks like a roadie for a Loverboy tribute band. Comedian Adam Hunter.
Oh, he was on Celebrity Rehab, wasn't he?
Prepared for the worst because he's ready to burst. New York Times bestselling author.
Oh, she's aged quite a bit in a year, about it.
That's the Kamala interview. Could you imagine if she had one?
Wait, what did she do? She finally had a baby?
She's ready to.
Yes, really.
Oh, because she used to be like cute and bubbly. She looks like way
That's
different.
why she's
Everything would be
pregnant.
upside down. But you know, it's so funny. How
Duh.
the last song I was listening to
Dick.
coming into the studio, the last song I heard was Wrapped Around Your Finger. And the line, right? I will turn your face to alabaster. When you find your servant is your master. Wow. Trump should call the media every day and sing that to him. He should call CNN, MSNBC, CBS, because he won. He won. Guess what? The American public won.
You know what? I feel like I just won.
Like the
You were the Barry White of Fox. Remember Barry White?
Oh, of course.
Oh, jeez.
I got lucky a few times with Barry White. Not with him, but his music.
this is like the best like comeback for Trump ever. Can you imagine?
Aaron, so what did you think of what's happening with the media now in Trump? It's kind of interesting because they always talk about they want transparency in media, and now he's delivering.
Yeah, I actually think that this is a great strategy for anybody who does an interview or works in politics, any politician. Record every interview you do. And if media wants to restore any level of credibility, the legacy media, the left-wing legacy media, they should always release every transcript and every full interview. I don't know why they wouldn't. If you were giving people the space to
You
say,
gotta back
"You're not
yourself
being
up
truthful,"
now,
then
especially
give
with
them the
AI.
opportunity to read all of it. But
You
the
should
media is
record
so
everything.
entrenched in the left-wing propaganda
No.
that they try to push and in trying to stop Donald Trump. You've seen it since 2015, and they fail time and again. Why? Because they think the American people are idiots. And I don't mean that rudely, but
Some
they do.
are.
If they thought the American people were smart, they wouldn't try to pull one over with you to make you think that Kamala Harris should have been president of the United States. She
but-
shouldn't have been.
but
She didn't have a
there's-
policy platform, and she couldn't even articulate why she wanted to be
What about the
president.
people that voted for her
Vice
though?
president for the
Like,
largest disaster of a presidency
they-
in modern times. But they didn't want you to see that.
there's still like millions that voted for her. That's the sad part.
Adam, I have a challenge for you.
Yes.
How can you turn Trump's recent success into a plethora of gross, dirty, and disturbing jokes?
Funny you should ask that, Greg. But I look, because of Trump, the media is being exposed more than Kanye's wife. But I mean, they bury the Russia hoax story, right?
I don't
And then
think
they
they're
put out this
together
story,
anymore.
which is like, I mean, that means that. Again, okay, they bury the Hunter Biden story, but then they put out this story. Meanwhile, like Hunter's story more cracked than Joy Behar's toilet seat.
Oh,
They give an NRA. I mean, they basically the Pulitzer Prize to a fake news story.
Yeah.
That's like the NRA giving a hunting award to Alec Baldwin. You know.
yeah, get him.
It makes sense.
Or like Diddy winning the Teen Choice Awards. You know.
Oh my God. Oh.
Good point. Good point. But I just like who gave him the award? Like George Santos. Great.
There's a lot of jokes you could say. Casey Anthony winning Mom of the Year award.
Oh yeah, of course, because we've never gotten one.
She's like weird now.
For the hard-hitting journalism that is this show.
What happened to her?
That expose we did.
She was like a cute little blonde. Like what happened to her?
Except for us.
I would say it's actually even fair to say, except for you.
Yes.
Pregnancy?
I was forced to follow it.
Yes.
By you.
But she turned into like
lady man.
Yeah, they're really just. I think that there really are just two Americas. I think that there's
I
people
don't
that
know,
haven't
man.
seen this, and
That's
then
quite the
there's people that
transformation.
will just point out only the more ridiculous aspects of Trump, some of his lawsuits, which there were ridiculous ones, of course. When he said CBS, he said the Kamala interview cost him $10 billion in damages, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there's also people who obviously that interview
Like, I don't-
was edited in her favor. If they were really sitting down and Trump was mumbling and stumbling like that, would they have cut that out? I believe no. But I think it's just we're in this media now where it's like, okay, if you say something positive about Trump, then you're a Trump lackey. If you say something negative about Trump, then you're anti-Trump. It's the more independent, uncut, unedited thought we can get out there, I think the better.
I disagree. I don't.
Just because she's,
I disagree.
I mean, I looked pretty awful in my first pregnancy,
over a
but
phrase on the field.
that chick like really changed, like drastically. Okay. See, meet the
We
Zoom.
allowed them to create essentially like weird pseudo religions that they all believe in, and effectively groom generations of young men to follow in their footsteps. And now they're all invading Washington.
Oh, this is a liberal guy.
Last week, Elon Musk has been engaged in a near wholesale takeover of key areas of the U.S.
Oh.
government. Working under the newly minted Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, Musk and a team of young loyalists have been wreaking havoc on our institutions. Last weekend, they gained access
Wreaking
to
havoc of our institutions. Did you see how much they wasted?
more information on members of the American public. Musk and his crew
Who
also
gives
gained
a-
access to the U.S. Treasury's payment systems. On Monday, staffers for the U.S. Agency of International Development, or USAID, were completely shut out of their offices and email accounts. All
Like,
USAID systems
boo fucking who, man?
safety of staffers around the world. This takeover is being led
A
by Musk,
takeover?
who's recruited a group of broccoli-haired Zoomers with little to no government experience to help enact his plan. These 19 to 25-year-olds.
Now you're insulting, calling them broccoli hair?
And though these young men are now federal servants, Musk has gone to great lengths to hide their identities. He has falsely claimed that naming them is illegal, and on Monday, he began banning accounts that tweeted about them, calling it doxing. Doxing used to mean publishing somebody's private information, like their social security number or their home address. And to be clear, I still think that's very wrong. But now, conservatives are trying to claim that
Unless it's Elon Musk's
I
team.
think that revealing the identities of the Gen Z men who are now playing a crucial role in our federal
This
government is very much in the public.
woman is
These
such
are
a-
teenagers in some cases who
Ugh.
have given an extreme amount of power and authority over our federal institutions nearly overnight with absolutely no public vetting. They are at the center of the government.
You see who's over our like government right now? You were like, you voted for Harris, Kamala Harris, lady.
And online culture reporter Ryan Broderick. Ryan has been covering all this in the White House.
Ryan. Oh my
Ryan,
God.
welcome to Power User.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Who's carrying out Elon's marching orders.
Oh my
He
God.
wrote recently that this team of former iPad babies
iPad babies. Oh.
reportedly hooking up an illegal server to access federal employment databases, but they're currently blocking staffer access to U.S. aid. And over the weekend, they successfully infiltrated the U.S. Treasury's payment system.
No, that's
Why
not
do
the
you think it's important
point.
for us to know who these people are?
Yeah, simply, they're working for Elon Musk. Elon Musk is trying
It's-
to carry out a bunch of illegal maneuvers. They're aiding and abetting.
Illegal aiding and abetting. No, I can't take these
He's
guys.
assigning former interns of his to these things. And based on what I've read, is that a lot of the times they're just appearing on Zoom calls without even explaining who they are or what they're doing. These are not experts.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but who the fuck cares? You know what you should care about? Is the all the waste. This government spending which creates inflation because they have to sell the debt and then they got to pay back the debt with interest, folks. Like nobody gets this. And it blows my effing mind. I cannot for the life of me understand why anybody can't figure that out. Like why do you care about them overtaking the government? Why? And finding out where they spent exorbitant amounts of cash to go back in their pockets. It's like, it's just, you should be like angry and outraged. You should not be outraged about a couple of kids that like are good at coding. Okay? That is the least of your problems. Like Musk literally like is behind a brain chip and like, you know, like PayPal and like, I really don't think he like gives a fuck about hacking into it. Like they are freaking out trying to make us upset because we just broke their little piggy bank, right? The USAID spending list. Like I don't care if they feed some hungry kids in another country. I don't care. You know, we could do that. There could be more than enough, but these...
Back to CBS News 24/7, federal workers offered a government buyout face a deadline today.
Oh, they're going to fact check it?
Nearly 10,000
You're going to fact check it.
U.S. aid employees are set to be on leave. Many protested in D.C. last night before our camera, say that this will cause people to die without help from critical humanitarian
Yeah,
aid.
fuck off. Seriously. I'm so sick of the lying. The lying.
The hardworking people in this country gave me money.
Well, I don't think the Democrats understand that it's over and that there was a vast infrastructure that made their feeble arguments viable, and that infrastructure is now collapsing. People are far more aware, and their lives aren't going to function anymore.
Well, it makes sense now that we're seeing these numbers because, okay, this was what was funding the infrastructure. Now we get it. Because it wasn't, otherwise, it's organic. This is the will of the people. This is how people are moving. It's not. It wasn't that at all. This was all organic, and it was really about control and money. It had nothing to do with helping people, making people better, giving
Exactly.
That's all a cloak and dagger bullshit show. The reality was it's about money.
Yeah, it's
money
always.
I don't understand why
Yeah.
these Democrats can't figure that out. They're like,
that was hard to believe, and therefore many of us couldn't see it.
Did you see how they used software to map out 55,000 different NGOs?
see, he had to use special software.
No, I didn't catch that.
I can send it to you. I think I sent it to you, Jamie, right? We went over it on the podcast before. It's so nutty that this was all kind of like hidden until they started using software to try to like figure out like what.
That's why they needed these little like nerdy hackers.
And the crazy thing about the NGOs, and this is one of the things that Mike Benz has gone like so deep into it, it's essentially like they contribute to the Democratic Party, the government pays them. It's like it's all this like weird sort of like circular money transfer thing that's out in the open.
No, it's a positive feedback. The whole idea is power is utilized to free resources that garner more power, and it is the exact inverse of the system that we are supposed to have.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Where we're headed, that's a harder question.
Where we're headed is we're going to own Gaza.
Somehow.
This is it. So fractal technology maps previously hidden connections between 55,000 liberal NGOs revealing how tax dollars allegedly flowed through major institutions like Vanguard and Morgan Stanley to groups like the Chinese Progressive Association. This breakthrough tracking system can now monitor every dollar going to every NGO, exposing intricate funding webs that traditional tech couldn't detect. So, example, Black Voters Matter Fund's $4 million distribution network was invisible until quantum mapping revealed dozens of subsidiary organizations. The unprecedented mapping reveals a previously hidden web of financial relationships.
They had to use
Really all about.
Yes, the problem is
IT. They couldn't just look at the books and like
a list of preposterous scientific projects that have gotten big grants.
Mm-hmm.
I read it and I think, they all sound preposterous, but I don't know. Some of these things are likely to have had a good explanation, and it just is not apparent in the soundbite. And some of them are every bit as preposterous as they seem. And so I can't look at a map like that and say what I would expect if the system was healthy. So I'm cautious about it. I don't think the system was healthy. I think the system was a racket from one end to the other, and I've been saying that we've been living in an era of malignant governance where there's basically no element of this you couldn't turn off and make us better. But we have to be suspicious also of our understanding of how a properly functioning system.
I love this guy.
In something
he's
like
a liberal too.
So that
but he's like
we don't overrun the train station when we get there.
I was listening to that whole one podcast. Was great. There's like so much good stuff, man. Crazy. There's not a boring day anymore.
Planets. Why would there be this vast universe and just us, each capable of sustaining?
They're all obsessed with aliens. You know what? I think we're the aliens.
The government spent $247
Why does he still have a job?
billion in improper payments. What does that mean? The government spent $247 billion in improper payments.
Oh, really?
Payments made in error, duplicate, or without proper basis. The GAO, the Government Accountability Office, which both sides rely on for government research, has a high alert list of programs and areas that need to be checked. The Department of Defense, Medicare, the prison system, food safety, cybersecurity, they're all there. Major concerns of mismanagement and waste.
Chrissy Cuomo.
I have suspicions about what we're seeing here early on. And increasingly,
what side are you on?
Now, that list I just told you, the high alert list that the GAO does, do you know what's not on that priority list? USAID. Why? Well, one, it's relatively small. It's less than 1% of the federal budget.
Oh, here we go. Now you're going to defend it.
The budget has shrunk since Reagan.
Oh, okay. So that makes it okay?
I'm not saying there isn't waste there. And
yeah, see?
I'm on board. And it's got a $44 billion budget. But that's nothing compared to the people on this list. Health and Human Services, $2.4 trillion. Department of Defense, $1.3 trillion. This is in 1 year. USAID is not even in the top 10.
They're not done. They're gonna go through all of these. But you guys blocked them, remember? The federal judge and
On federal prisons more than on foreign aid. Think about it.
oh, Dem Congresswoman has an exclusive message for Doge.
With USAID.
Oh boy.
And I think the answer is about who's looking, and that's Elon Musk. Now, the first reason is, from what I can glean, is it's low fruit. It's easy. USAID isn't attached to a big dog like Lockheed Martin or AT&T or Microsoft, all of whom feed to the government trough way more than USAID. And those companies have had real issues with hacking and cost overruns, which I'll tell you in a second. And then I got suspicious because this MAGA pod bros story that broke, of course, on Twitter, falsely claiming that USAID was funding Politico and other outlets with these huge amounts. They never break things that are correct, and sure enough, it wasn't correct. USAID wasn't feeding them in these huge amounts as suggested. So why did they get fed this story, and by whom? Again, I think it points to Elon Musk. And so then we started doing more reporting.
Oh, so should we not believe Politico ever then? Because
thousands of Starlink terminals from Musk's satellite internet company.
it was an erroneous.
We all know the story, right? Didn't you think he gave them all? Turns out he didn't. But it did give access to Musk's advanced internet system to people who needed it. Now, problem with that promise is, he said only Ukraine would have access, not Russia. But now there's evidence and allegations that Russians did have access. Their military.
Oh boy.
So what did USAID do? They opened an investigation into Elon Musk this past September. You didn't know that, did you? USAID paid Politico only $40,000 in U.S. subscriptions in 2023, 2024. You want to end them? Fine. The whole entire federal government paid Politico $8 million for subscriptions in 2024. And by the way, a lot of Republicans were on their list of subscribers. But again, you want to get rid of it? Fine. Guess how much Musk got from USAID after saying he was donating the terminals? He didn't donate all of them. USAID
Interesting.
had to buy
Plot
over
thickens.
1,300 of them at $1,500 a piece. And the weird thing is, the terminals retail for $600. Musk made over $2 million in that deal from USAID. Why didn't he donate all of them? Why wasn't it disclosed that he's being investigated in connection with that? And how can it not have something to do with why he picked them first? Shouldn't he have to at least explain if it's a personal beef or something he learned about the agency while dealing with them? If you're not going to go after the big dogs, you're going to go after low fruit that's a fraction of the problem. And you have this problem with them? And
Well, I certainly hope they were.
This is why
The
I
plan
say
was to
Musk
go
should
into.
have been vetted. Not because I love process, I love bureaucracy. No, but because you want to make sure you have the right person doing the job. Because why aren't you going after the real alligators in the swamp?
Well, I thought they were going
My
to.
watchdog group, that the Department of Defense is going to now pay Lockheed Martin $2 trillion for the F-35 Lightning II program, the fighter jet. It was supposed to be $200 billion in the early 2000s. Talk about waste and abuse. Why
There's
so
a
much?
lot
Why
of
do we need so
yeah.
much? This
Yep.
watchdog group cited the government's inability to control costs as the reason. So why don't you start there? Last year, the DHS awarded AT&T a $150 million contract.
Thanks for exposing it, Cuomo. Appreciate all this government waste that you're exposing now.
Dozens of federal agencies. Why are you looking at that? The DoD spends hundreds of millions in IT services for Microsoft.
Good job. Keep talking about it.
By China and Russia on their federal government computer network.
I want to get rid of all of the waste.
Give it to somebody else. They're getting hacked. They're losing our information. They're getting billions and trillions. So I like the mission, but I have questions. You remember that OMB memo that Trump issued that paused trillions in federal grants and financial assistance and had to be rescinded? A recent report found that nonprofits and healthcare providers are struggling to maintain their operations because of these freezes. And they help real people who need real help. People with disabilities, the Head Start programs, youth care in hospitals. I know. I'm not saying that Trump means to punish these people. I'm sure he doesn't want these things to happen. But it is what happens when you go too fast and you cut too much with someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Musk is a genius. He does amazing things. I had a Tesla. I get SpaceX. I think it's amazing. Starlink is amazing. What they're doing with healthcare is amazing. But who says he's got this way of doing efficiency? We don't know that. And we don't know much about him and his relationships with the government. And it's a mistake.
I'm pretty sure he's connected with the government to be able to throw rockets up in the air and shit. Come on, wake up.
Other racist tropes? Who else is he connected to? Look, it's got to be about results.
Elon Musk is, yeah.
Talk is easy. You got to walk the
I don't
right
know.
way. And I'm going to keep paying attention for you because this is starting off in a way that may be well-intentioned, but it's getting increasingly suspicious. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find news.
That might be the one and only time where I was like,
Click the red subscribe
okay, somewhat with him, with his points he made. Because we all know that I mean, Elon Musk, like,
And back to the United States, taxpayer outrage is erupting as
partnered
USA faces
with, you know,
accusations of wasting
Trump, who
funds on
started
several bizarre projects. President Trump and Elon Musk have
Stargate.
launched a fiery crackdown, calling the agency corrupt and inefficient. In fact, since last Monday, U.S. aid offices have been shuttered. Employees are sidelined, and the aid to critical global programs
All
remain
right.
frozen.
Good
Meanwhile, critics
night.
warn of disastrous consequences for global health and
Good
humanitarian
night.
efforts if USA doesn't resume its services.